Hey guys, my name is Daniel Mudheki, and I'd like to thank you all so much for joining me today. Most importantly, as we always do, we thank God for the gift of a new life. The ability to see a new day is a gift from God. And so I know you might be going through a very tough time. Things might be difficult for you, but I want you to look back and thank God for things He has done in your life. He's given you good health, He's given you life, while there are others who would have exchanged that with you in a second. So always be quick to give thanks to God for a new day. Guys, as usual, I leave my social media details right on the screen there. And so if you'd like to reach out to me, it could be a concern you have, a question, a topic you want to suggest, feel free, chat me up on my social media pages, drop me an email, and I'll try my very best to revert to each and every one of you by God's grace. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscription button, press it, and do not forget the notification bell so that you're always alerted when we post a new video, which by God's grace is normally each and every Sunday. Well guys, new week, new video. And last week we had a series that we were doing. And so make sure you check them out. There are around 3 videos. Make sure you check them out, and they are on peace. So don't miss out. Go back, watch them, and make sure you update yourself with what it is you are talking about. But in today's video, my spirit has really been led for a while to talk about fear or faith. You know, the funny thing with fear and faith is that they are fueled by the same thing. You see, faith is believing in things unseen. Fear is similarly the same. You know, you fear things that have not yet manifested themselves. You fear things that you think might come to be but have not yet come to be. Fear and faith use the fact that you must believe in something that you probably do not see. And I have realized that a lot of us opt to use fear rather than use faith. You know, we've had fear of the unknown for a long time. We had fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not becoming that which we have always wanted to be, fear that holds you back, fear that keeps you chained, fear that has kept you a prisoner of the past, unable to move forward, unable to strive, unable to achieve. You know, the fear of failure is so live in so many of us that we don't even try. You stay where you are and you never try to move forward because fear has crippled you. Faith is the opposite of fear. And today we want to talk about that. That you must turn around and start utilizing faith in your life more than you have done with fear. Now, I'd like us to read the Bible together. Trusted Bible is back, and we are going to read the book of Matthew, chapter 8, from verses 23. Jesus calms the storm. Then he got into the boat, and his disciples followed him. Suddenly, a furious storm came up on the lake, so that the waves swept over the boat. But Jesus was asleep. His disciples went and woke him, saying, "Lord, save us. We are going to drown." He replied, "You of little faith, why are you so afraid?" You know, let me stop there because I recently got a revelation about this scripture. Jesus was asleep. In this situation that was turmoil, you know, that boat was being hit by these waves left and right. And I know some of us have had waves in our lives. Issues that have come and really pushed us to a such uncomfortable and fearful space. And this is what the disciples were going through. They were scared. They were afraid. In fact, when they were waking up, Jesus was telling him, "We are going to die. We are going to die in this boat." But on the contrast, Jesus is asleep. In the midst of all this mess, he's asleep. He's at rest. He has peace. Okay, let's continue. "We are going to drown," the disciple said. He replied, "You of little faith, why are you so afraid?" Then he got up and rebuked the winds and the waves, and it was completely calm. The men were amazed and asked, "What kind of man is this? Even the waves obey him." You know, the revelation I got the other day was Christ was asleep because he had control over everything. He did not fear because he had control over the sea. God was with him, and so he did not fear. And so in the midst of turmoil, where others believed they were going to die, he was asleep. And the disciples who had been with him for so long, they had walked with him, they had seen the miracles he'd performed, and truly they believed this was a man of God. But yet, still being in his presence, they feared. And they were afraid. You know, how many times has God been there for you? How many times have you got answered prayers? Your reality today is an answered prayer of the past. God came through for you. But yet, still you fear. But yet, still you worry. But yet, still you have doubt over the future. That's why Christ told the disciples, "You of little faith. Haven't I been with you? Haven't you seen the works I've done? Why would you fear?" While Christ was asleep, they were fearful. You know, I use an example of my son. You know, I always say you must be careful with children because they trust us. You know, my son can climb up on an edge, somewhere very high, and I'll ask him to jump towards me, and he will. No doubt, no fear, because he knows I will hold him. He knows his dad will not let him go. That's the trust and faith my son has in me. That he knows I will not let him go, I will hold him. That is the kind of faith Christ himself had over the power he had over the sea, knowing that he can calm that storm, and that's why he was asleep in a storm. Today, I want to urge us, I want to pray that God will give us that spirit of faith, that you and I can sleep in storms. We can have peace despite the troubles we face, despite the difficulties we find ourselves in. The disciples were told by Christ, "You of little faith." Have you been of little faith? Have you been unable to look back and see what God has done for you? You know, personally today, this video, I'm speaking to myself. And I'm purposing in my heart that I will choose faith over fear. I will choose to have absolute belief in my God, because my God has been there for me in the past. He has done miracles for me in the past. He has answered my prayers in the past. And so in the storms that I face today, I choose to rest. I choose to sleep. I choose to have peace in the midst of a storm, because the God I serve has power over the storm. And I urge you today to subscribe to this message. Please choose faith over fear. Faith does not take away the storm. Faith gives you courage. Faith gives you hope. Faith gives you peace in the storm. And so it's your choice to make, my friends, today. Look back, count your blessings, see what God has done, and trust Him. Put your faith in Him. Do not doubt. You can't believe in something and doubt it at the same time. In the same principle, you cannot have faith and fear. They need one space, hence they cannot coexist in your life today. In the storm, Jesus was asleep. I choose to have faith because my faith will give me courage in fear. My faith will give me hope in despair. And my faith will give me peace within turmoil. Thank you guys for joining me today. But look back. Look at your life. Where have you not had faith and you've compromised your ability to be the person God created you to be? Use this week to exercise faith. Build that relationship with God. As my son has a relationship with me, so he trusts me. No stranger will tell my son jump and he jumps. He doesn't know them. He doesn't trust them. But he's built a relationship with me, his father. And so he trusts me. That's the same thing I want you to do. Build a relationship with your Father in heaven. Build a relationship with God so that you are able to fully have faith and trust in Him. Until next time, may the Lord bless you, may He keep you, may He shine His face upon you and be gracious to you. Thank you guys, and God bless.